Adrian Peterson emerges from the shower, one white towel around his waist, one wrapped around his shoulders, and takes a seat in a chair placed in front of his locker. Then he begins to shake hands. Teammates in various states of undress, team officials decked out in Arizona Cardinal red, men in tailored suits who look important, come up to the running back and pay their respects like a procession. They reach out, pat him on the back, lean in and whisper something in his ear. Peterson smiles, and they walk on. Then the process repeats itself. It's about 15 minutes after the Cardinals beat the Buccaneers 38-33 in an incredibly wacky game at University of Arizona Stadium. It was an important win for Arizona, bringing their record back up to .500 and keeping them alive in the tight NFC West race, but the day belonged to Peterson. The running back dresses in all Adidas gear and walks through the press conference doors to the assembled media. In this moment, you are half expecting the running back to stand up and quote Mark Twain, "Yes, the reports of my death were greatly exaggerated." Instead, he is asked about the trade that brought him to this team, to this city, to this moment, a game in which he rushed for more yards than he had in nearly 2 years. He smiles. 134 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns and an innumerable amount of critics silenced will do that to you. How did he feel after he heard about the trade? "I was rejuvenated," he says. "Even my wife could see it. It felt like a boulder lifted off my back." We all know the story. Peterson finished his 10-year career in Minnesota last season with only 72 total yards after he suffered a torn meniscus in the team's third game. Then the Vikings chose not to pick up his option, and the Saints signed the future Hall of Famer. Initially, many in the football universe derided the move as a poor fit, but as the offseason went on, they attempted to convince themselves that maybe, possibly, it could work, despite the drastic schematic change and the fact that the Saints had 2 other capable backs on the team. And then the season started and the experiment played out worse than probably anyone even expected. 4 games, 27 rushes, 81 total yards, and one infamous gif of the running back looking disgusted at Saints coach Sean Payton during his first game with the team. It was clear the marriage had failed. The only question was how protracted the divorce would be. Then last Tuesday, Peterson got a text from a friend, prompting him to put on his TV. That's when he saw that he had been traded to Arizona. "It was like, thank you, Jesus," Peterson said earlier in the week. "My prayers got answered." But the Cardinals might have needed Peterson as much as the back needed the team. After losing David Johnson, their star running back, in Week 1, Arizona ranked dead last in rushing yards and yards per carry through the first 5 games. The most any rusher on their team had gained in a game this season was 44 yards by Chris Johnson in Week 2, and in 3 of their 5 games they didn't have a back gain more than 23 yards. In contrast, Peterson had 54 yards on his first drive, which he capped with a 27-yard touchdown run, showing flashes of the old AP, the one we had all already buried and proclaimed dead. It was all there, the patience, the explosion, the rare combination of power and elusiveness as he burst through a hole and left a trail of defenders futilely chasing him. Sure, Tampa Bay's poor defensive performance certainly helped Peterson's performance, but that one carry would have been the 3rd best game for a Cardinals back this season. On his flight down to Arizona, he was going through the Cardinals' offense, and Peterson later said the playbook was so complex that it looked like a foreign language to him. But he stayed up till 3:30 that night studying and hasn't stopped since. He came into this game feeling confident that he had already learned most of the complex scheme, the third he's been playing in just this past year. A few times in the huddle on Sunday, Carson Palmer went to remind the new back of his assignment and Peterson cut him off and told him that he was good. He cut it.